YouTube. I know my camera looking like this. I know, but I'll fix it on later on in the video. So just bear with it for right now, please, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know I look nigga broke this shit. I'm jobless right now, but I get the gesture though. But yeah, just you know what I'm saying. I'm just a little heads up.
Embry partied way too hard, studied too little, and was late to practices and meetings far too often.
See, they go back to me saying, why are you on my team? Why? Embry, my nigga. Nah, I see why you ain't have no fucking NFL career. Cause if you gonna be a part of my fucking Dutch twin, partying off limits the whole year, off season partying off limits, yes, I said the whole entire year, not just football year. Smoking, drinking, all that shit out the window. And then you showing up to practice late, nigga, on my fucking team? And you not even studying, bro? Oh, you would've had like fucked up, man. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Cooko Dre, man, and I'm back with another YouTube video, bro. And today, my nigga, we got the Oregon star QB that ruined his college career. The Jeremiah Masoli story. I have no clue who this nigga is, and I'm blessing this video. This video is the reason why I'm not gonna know who this nigga is. It's saying that it was some dealing with the police or some shit. I have no clue. That's the only thing I heard about this story. So my nigga, if you're new here, bro, leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. Follow me, all my socials on the screen. Next link in the description as well. On the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get like 5 likes to this video, nothing crazy, and let's get into this bitch. Gang.
Jeremiah Masoli.
Can we just ask you how it feels to be the guy that put Masoli up there?
I wasn't the person who put Masoli up there. He put himself up there.
Do you know what was the motivation for this? Was there anything beyond just burglary?
We may never know. The answer is I don't know what the motivation was.
Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I guess so.
Can you believe that?
He's nifty, isn't he?
So what the fuck happened?
That's an option. This is the defining play of this game so far. Masoli to throw it.
Stop it right there. The guy with the football on this play, the quarterback, he goes by the name of Jeremiah Masoli. And what this young man's about to do next, it's more than likely going to shock you. However, with that being said, if you remember this guy dating back to years, I'm talking about years and years and years ago, you didn't expect anything less.
Takes off. Delivers a shot and makes the first down.
Is that a first down?
Takes off. Delivers a shot and makes the first down.
Yeah, that happened. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, meet Mr. Jeremiah Masoli.
It's Mitchell at 200. Calls for his receiver to come back. And that
The crazy part about all this is he was extremely fortunate just to be playing for Oregon in the first place. So many things had to happen and go his way for him to get the opportunity to be the starting quarterback for this team. Listen to this. Heading into the season, he was listed as the 4th-string quarterback. If you played football, you know how ridiculous that is. I don't think a lot of people understand that your 3rd-string quarterback is barely even getting reps in practice. But the 4th-stringer, no, you're not getting any. Next thing you know, you look up, this 4th-string quarterback at one point in time is getting Heisman love. His life changed just like that within the snap of a finger. He went from a nobody to a superstar. On top of being the starting quarterback for Oregon, if that wasn't good enough in its own right, he was on Sports Illustrated and he had his own segment on College Game Day. But just as quick as he rose to the top, he fell even faster. There's no other way to put this, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He straight up and blatantly ruined his own career. Heading into the 2010 college football season, Masoli and Oregon had a lot of heavy expectations, and they were supposed to compete for a national championship. At this point in time as well, Masoli.
We have not did that. Don't even bring a national championship to my team name. Oh, man.
He is a Heisman Trophy candidate, and he's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. But in the offseason, heading into that 2010 year, he got kicked off of the team. Let's just say that old Masoli here was doing things he shouldn't have been doing. But what's really, and I mean really intriguing about all of this is he wound up pleading guilty to what he did, but apparently he didn't do it. So I know what you're sitting here saying. Trust me, I was asking myself the same question. So if he didn't do it, why did he plead guilty? That's the $1,000,000 question, my friend, and it's what we're going to try to get to the bottom of. Believe me when I say this, there's many, and I mean many questions people have been asking about this guy even till this day. But however, it all circles back to the one big question we're going to try to get to the bottom of in today's video. What really happened to Jeremiah Masoli?
Yeah, what happened to this nigga, bro? Never really heard about this nigga. Me being an Oregon fan, I never heard about this nigga until today. So, yeah.
Let's hope all of you having a great and fantastic day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Major shout out to C Free, I believe that's how you say your name, 519. The comment states, I'm from Tuscaloosa. Shout out to T-Town. So my favorite team is easily Alabama. Coming in at a close second is Oregon, and one of my all-time favorite college athletes is Jeremiah Masoli. So I think it's time for a What Happened to Jeremiah Masoli video, and here we are. Great recommendation. As always, your boy Matt is a fan of the people, and I want to give the people what they want. So if you have any recommendations for future videos like this, leave a comment down below, and who knows, we might make that video. I know you guys are ready to get into this video. I am too, so strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat and watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. But all right, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up, not up for that, do. Let's get into it.
So what happens to this nigga, bro?
Mr. Jeremiah Masoli's story, it takes place in the year of 2008. Coming out of high school, he really didn't have any schools interested in him.
Y'all sure this nigga is not a lineman or defensive end? Y'all sure this nigga a quarterback, my nigga? Cause this nigga humongous as hell to be a quarterback, and nigga like, damn.
Whatsoever. So this is where he decided to go to the City College of San Francisco, which is a JUCO. At this college, he performed really well, and this is when Oregon was like, you know what? This kid's pretty good. He's on the West Coast, so let's give him a shot. Before we go any farther, I want to harp on this because I think it's important and vital to our story. When Oregon was going after Masoli, they had no thoughts, not even to the slightest, that he was going to be the starting quarterback for Oregon one day. They were solely recruiting him for the purpose of adding more quarterbacks to the roster, and maybe one day he'll be a really good backup. Outside of that, they didn't think too much of him. Well, next thing you know, Oregon just loses a couple quarterbacks due to injury, and Masoli's the next man up.
Of course. Peep that. Peep no words, bro. Listen to my team. Just listen to what happened to my team. Look.
Well, next thing you know, Oregon just loses a couple quarterbacks due to injury, and Masoli's the next man up.
Like I literally said, my nigga, we can be walking to McDonald's, my nigga, and a nigga would tear ACL, my nigga, and we got a playoff game tomorrow, bro. That's what comes with being a fucking Oregon fan. Like, this shit comes with so many downs, bro. A lot of ups, too. But so many downs, bro. It's like, bro, can we get a fucking break, bro?
He takes over in the Washington State game in 2008, and he never...
Boise State? Okay, he want me started. He ain't get shit done against USC by my ass. Like Cali. He only threw 44 yards against Cali, twin. Hell no.
Never look back from that point on. He was a freak of nature, and his numbers aren't going to jump off the board at you. I'll show them to you in just a second. But the way he played the game, it was awesome. He was this hard-nosed, physical player, kind of, and they didn't play the same.
And this the only photo they got of this nigga, bro. I ain't seen no other photos, but this same Oregon uni and a fucking that high school photo
here, because I know a lot of you know this guy had a similar sort of play style to Tim Tebow.
In the Rose
Bowl. Maybe saying play style that's not doing it any justice. It's more so of a similar mindset. That's a better way of wording it. Masoli was a dual threat quarterback who wanted to run, and he was not going to slide. He enjoyed running you over. And this is also another reason he wasn't highly recruited coming out of high school. He is only 5'11", 210 pounds. Damn. When you throw on top of that he's not some extremely accurate passer, yeah, on paper at least, didn't seem like a great quarterback. But the way he played the game, yeah, he was great.
Our black unis back then, like the black and green, neon green, bro, that shit. Can we go back? Like, I don't like the new black jersey we got. It's hard, but it's like the shoulders got too much going. Like, I don't know.
When it was all said and done in his first year at Oregon in 2008, here's his numbers. Completed 57% of his passes, had 1,700 passing yards with 13 touchdowns to 5 INTs. But here's the kicker with that. You got to throw this in there. He had 7 and 18 rushing yards, averaging 5.7 per carry with 10 touchdowns on the ground. Fast forward time into next year in 2009, he's the guy. He's the starting quarterback. Outside of that first loss to Boise State 19-8 and a 51-42
we lost to Ohio State in a Rose Bowl game. What? And this nigga threw for 81 fucking yards.
Had a good year. They did beat their rival Oregon State and played Ohio State in the bowl game, in which they lost 26-17. But all in all, for Masoli in that year, I'd say it was solid. Completed 58% of his passes. That's all right. 2,100 passing yards with 15 touchdowns to only 6 INTs. On the ground, had 668 yards with 13 touchdowns. If you were to nitpick, you could say, and it's more than fair to state this, well, Matt, his completion percentage isn't really that good, and I'd agree.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with Masoli. Yeah, he didn't complete 68 or 70% of his passes, but you'll notice the most interceptions he ever had in a season was 6. He took care of the football, and he was an outstanding runner. So what he lacked in the passing game, he made.
I cannot believe we actually played these niggas. Like, what the fuck? Like, we played these in the Rose Bowl before the Natty too. What the hell? I never knew that.
The dude was a really solid player, and he's why I think people like me and you love college football so much. We all knew back in the day that Masoli wasn't this NFL stereotypical dream quarterback. You know what I'm talking about. The 6'5", 6'6", 225-pound guy that completes 70% of his passes. That wasn't him. He is what we all can relate to. A 5'11", 200-pound guy.
Hold on, Chuck. All right, y'all boys, we back.
Who's not very accurate, but we're going to give it everything we got. And to tell you the truth, I think that's why the people that love Masoli loved him as much as they did. There was somewhat of that relatability factor because people like me and you, we can't relate to a Peyton Manning or a Eli Manning, an Arch Manning, guys like that. They have God-given ability and talent, but Masoli, I mean this in the
I'm
most
not gonna lie,
respectful way
bro.
possible.
The wings on our jerseys, these shits came a long way, my nigga. Like, these shits look like them shits were just slapped on there. Like, I know it was 2009 and shit, and early 2000s, but like, damn, them shits were slapped on there. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with it just being all white with the ducks on that bit, but I'm not gonna lie, the wings, they add detail, so hey.
Well, he just looked like your average Joe out there. The more I think about it, it's kind of giving me those Johnny Manziel type of vibes. Getting a little sidetracked here, my apologies. More of the story up until this point. 2008, 2009, Masoli, he was a really good football player for Oregon, and he's a star at this point. There's not too much to say. There's not too many controversies going on, and everything's lining up for him to have an outstanding 2010 season and potentially go to the NFL. Unfortunately, after this 2009 season, Jeremiah Masoli would never play another down for the University of Oregon. Yeah, that's right. You heard me correctly. Never suited up after that 2009 season. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you might want to lock in for this part of the video because this is where things take a drastic, and I mean a drastic turn. In that offseason, heading into the 2010 year, Masoli and a teammate of his that went by the name of Garrett Embry, they would go to a party. At this party, there was a guy who went by the name of Max Wolford, who in the fraternity house had a room there. Well, Max Wolford, the guy who has the room there, he sees Masoli and Garrett Embry walking past him. He's like, hey, that's Masoli, the star quarterback of the Oregon football team. What's he doing here? But at the same time, Wolford notices Garrett Embry has his projector in his hand.
What?
This is when Max says, hey, that's mine, quote unquote. What are you doing? Garrett Embry, the guy who went to the party with Masoli, then takes off running. It was stated that Masoli didn't run anywhere. He just
Wait.
That's mine, quote unquote. Has his projector in his hand. This is when Max says, hey, that's mine, quote unquote. What are you doing? Garrett Embry, the guy who went to the party with Masoli, then takes off running. It was stated that Masoli didn't run anywhere. He just walked out of the house while Max Wolford, the guy who sees Garrett Embry with his laptop and his digital projector, he's chasing after Garrett Embry.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta watch y'all niggas hang around with, cause it's a lot of snake ass niggas out there, chat, that will fuck your whole life up, gang. Like, well, number one, why the fuck would you even do some shit? Like, why would you take a nigga projector, bro? Why? What are you gaining from taking a nigga's projector game with the star quarterback next to you, gang? Like, you dumb as hell, bro. Like, that don't make no fucking sense to me, gang. Making shit all funny and all.
He's chasing after Garrett Embry. Keep in mind, Embry is a football player for Oregon, and Max Wolford catches up to him. When Max Wolford catches up to Embry, this is when he hands him back the projector, and we thought that was going to be the end-all be-all. Well, Wolford starts walking back to his house, and this is when he gets back to his room, and he notices his MacBook and electric guitar are both missing. Wolford calls 911, the police get involved, and yeah, things are about to escalate. But listen to this. The police asked Max Wolford if he saw Masoli with his laptop or anything when he was leaving the house, and he stated, no, I didn't see him carrying anything out of the house. Now, according to Masoli, he told everyone, yes, he was there, but he didn't steal anything. But where things got a little fishy and people started questioning the credibility of Masoli is he called Coach Kelly when the incident was going on and told him, I was never at the fraternity house in the first place, when in reality he was.
That's crazy.
So you see where this is going. He lied about being at the fraternity house, so why should anybody believe?
Yo, so why are you lying to being at the frat house? Unless you're not, that's what I'm like. Are you not supposed to be there or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? What the fuck?
Even when he states, oh, well, yeah, I was there, but I didn't steal anything. So the way this is looking back then, and this was the picture they were trying to paint, is that Masoli and Embry, teammates of the Oregon football team, they were in on this together. But what was really interesting when I was digging up these police reports, doing research on this situation, is they didn't even find calls or text messages between Masoli and Embry even 2 weeks up until that fraternity house party.
That's
if you don't know what I'm trying to state here, let me dumb this down. If me and one of my buddies, theoretically speaking, not going to happen, but let's just say me and you, the person watching this video, we want to go rob somebody or we want to steal something, wouldn't we talk about it?
Yeah, y'all would talk about that shit.
We have a plan on it? And I know you may say, well, Matt, if we were to talk about it, we might just do it in person, and yeah, I guess that'd be a fair argument. But the point I'm trying to get across here is Masoli and Embry, they weren't even communicating, at least on calls and text messages, 2 weeks up until the incident.
That's what I'm saying. So wouldn't that be kind of, you know what I'm saying? Okay, he ain't do it. Like, that would make sense.
I just thought it was interesting. I want to throw it in there. Continuing along here, the police wound up searching Masoli's house, vehicle, car, dumpster, you name it, they searched it, and they couldn't find the MacBooks. There was 2, and they couldn't find the guitar. And although early on Masoli lied about not being at the fraternity house, he stood 10 toes down on this. He didn't steal anything. Here's what Masoli had to say about his lie and the reason he did it, quote unquote. I just didn't want to affiliate myself with anything like robbery or anything that had to do with that, because I had been through it all already. I had been through that whole ordeal already. I know what you're sitting there saying, wait, what? He's been through that ordeal already?
Where he from?
What's he talking about here? That's a great question, my friend. I have an even better answer. You see, Masoli here doesn't have a clean record. Dating back to high school, Masoli got in trouble due to a, guess what? Robbery. What was this robbery in high school, you may ask? Well, Masoli and some of his buddies, they saw a kid who was small, and they just straight up went up to him and said, hey, hand me over your wallet. It is worth being noted that Masoli was the driver, and yeah, he got out of the vehicle, but he wasn't the one instigating the victim to give up his wallet. He just watched all of his other buddies, I guess you'd say in other terms here, bully the younger kid. And Masoli has stated till this day that he failed that day and he should have been a leader and he shouldn't have done that and he shouldn't have allowed his friends to do it. Here's a fun fact for you. Before that robbery incident in high school, Masoli was getting recruited by Harvard and Yale. When they found out about the robbery incident with the young man, they stopped calling Masoli and they quit recruiting him. Shocker, right? Anyways, I think
he could have went to Harvard and Yale. That's crazy. But I'm not gonna lie, I would have chose Oregon too. Nigga, fuck Harvard and fuck Yale.
This wasn't Masoli's first rodeo. He's been in a similar situation. But going back to this robbery incident that happened in Oregon, what was so hard for people to come to terms with is Jeremiah Masoli wasn't this aggressive guy, and he was really quiet. One of his teammates even stated, quote unquote, just like I said, off the field, Jeremiah's a real quiet guy. He keeps to himself. He didn't strike you as a guy to just randomly show up to a frat house, steal a couple of MacBooks and an electric guitar. According to Masoli, they go to the frat house, getting their party on like any other college student. And this is when Garrett, he goes into the room and comes out with the projector. Similar situation to what happened when him and his buddies, they robbed that young kid in high school. Masoli, technically, he didn't rob the kid himself, but he allowed it to happen.
Damn, so basically, Masoli, you need to watch who you hang around then, bro. Because if people around you keep getting you fucked up and shit, bro, you got to watch who you hang around, gang. But yeah, watch y'all hang around, cause that shit.
He allowed his teammate Garrett Embry to steal the projector, and he didn't say anything about it. Here's what Masoli had to say, quote unquote. Something about the situation told me to get out of there, and I walked right in front of Embry, didn't say one word to him, just walked right out of there. Masoli was trying to make the argument a claim of, oh yeah, I showed up with Garrett Embry, but when I saw him do that, I was like, oh no, I don't want to be a part of this, so I'm out. I'm leaving. And that's technically what happened, because Max Wolford, the guy who was chasing Garrett Embry out of the house, he stated, oh yeah, I saw Masoli going some other way, and he wasn't running. Masoli was just walking somewhere else because he didn't want to be a part of it. So all that's true, according to the victim himself and Masoli, and everything's adding up. But what's not adding up is the MacBooks and electric guitar. They're still missing. Here's an interesting fact about this Garrett Embry guy and the type of person he was. According to other Oregon teammates, Embry partied way too hard, studied too little, and was late to practices and meetings far too often.
See, they go back to me saying, why are you on my team? Why? Embry, my nigga. Nah, I see why you ain't have no fucking NFL career. Because if you gonna be a part of my fucking Ducks twin, partying off limits the whole year, off season partying off limits, yes, I said the whole entire year, not just football year, smoking, drinking, all that shit out the window, and then you showing up to practice late, nigga, on my fucking team, and you not even studying, bro. Oh, you would have had like fucked up, man. Oh, you blessed, man. You're blessed, man. You're blessed. That's all I'm saying.
One player recalled a time and instance when Embry's father showed up to a practice to watch Embry in Oregon practice that day. This is when Chip Kelly decides to walk over to Garrett Embry's father and ask him, hey, do you know where Garrett is?
That's crazy.
Imagine that as a dad. You're like, you know what, I got some free time. I'm going to watch my son practice. The head coach comes up to you, hey, by the way, thanks for coming, but where's your kid at today? Yeah, if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about this Garrett Embry guy, I don't know what will. I'll put it to you like this. He wasn't exactly the greatest role model out there and the greatest person to be hanging out with. One thing to note is that Masoli says he didn't know Embry too well and he didn't hang out with him too often, which to his credit, other Oregon players did vouch for him and say that was true. Of course, since they were teammates, they did speak occasionally, but that's all it was, occasionally. Here's where things get even more fascinating. So Wolford has stated about Masoli's involvement in the situation this, quote unquote. By his version, he didn't steal anything, referring to Masoli, and by mine, it's not clear that he did. In other terms, he's stating, yeah, well, my MacBook is missing, my guitar's missing, but I can't prove Masoli did it. I didn't see him walking out with anything. And that's what had everybody puzzled about this, because Masoli wound up pleading guilty to the charges. Oregon fans were bewildered by this. Chip Kelly was shocked, and nobody understood, hey, if you didn't do it, why are you pleading guilty? Well, unfortunately, there's a good reason for that, and we're about to get into it. And I say we're about to. We are right now. Masoli was offered a deal that he felt like he couldn't turn down. If Masoli pleaded guilty to burglary 2, a felony that the DA promised to treat as a misdemeanor, he would get a year of probation, and he and Embry would split the $5,000 restitution to be paid to the victims, quote unquote. But the biggest factor, Linda Masoli says, which is his mother, was if you lose at trial, and by the way, the DA wins a high percentage of their cases, your son is facing a mandatory sentence of 2 to 4 years in prison.
Damn.
Yeah, that's I'd hate to be in those shoes. That's a hard decision to make, because you want to, as an innocent man, if you believe you're innocent, to maintain, like I said here, your innocence. It's not about money. It's not about.
I'm not even gonna lie about that shit, bro. You being a young football player, bro, you young man at this time, bro, and you going through all this shit, bro. It's like you just want to go to the league at this point. Like, you're like, damn, bro, just get me to the league. Get me up out of this situation. I hate being here. Just want to make my money. You know what I'm saying? Play football, play a sport that I do something I love. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, hit with the Rico.
Right. If you didn't do something, you didn't do it. But at the same time, we've seen people lose cases that they shouldn't have lost. Mm-hmm. And like it says right here, the DA, they won a high percentage of these cases. And if they prove that Masoli was guilty, then he's going to jail for 2 to 4 years, and that's 2 to 4 years of your life you're not getting back. On top of that, your college football career is completely over, and your shot at playing professional football is gone. It's out the window. Whereas if you say, all right, I'll plead guilty, well, that's all there is to it. You're not even going to go to jail. They were going to treat it to a misdemeanor. You get a year probation, and you can still play football. I don't think I need to sit up here and explain to you why he pleaded guilty. I think it's relatively simple. And I'm extremely curious. Let me know in the comment section. Even if you were innocent, what would you have done? I've been doing research on this video for
I
days.
ain't gonna lie, I would have pleaded guilty. I ain't gonna lie. I had no choice but to get that guilty charge, bro.
I continue to go back to this. I think he made the right choice. I would have pleaded guilty as well. Even if I didn't do it, it wasn't worth risking losing the trial and getting put in jail. That's my take on it. I know a lot of people, they feel differently, and that's why I want to know your guys' thoughts down below. It wasn't an easy decision. His mom was very distraught about all this, and here's what she had to say. We changed our mind in our bedroom with our son at least 6 times. Just back and forth, a lot of tears, a lot of praying as a family together, and ultimately, Jeremiah was the one who said, football's one thing. This is my life. Prison? For 2 to 4 years? They go through it, plead guilty. As far as it goes for his football career, the head coach at the time, Chip Kelly for Oregon, this is when he announced that he will be suspending Masoli for 1 season. Although the situation was bad, it was starting to come to an end, and things were looking pretty bright for Masoli.
It's the nigga right here who changed everything. The spread, all that. It's just him.
In trouble, and he's in the doghouse at Oregon, but as long as he does what he needs to do, he'll be the quarterback of the near future again. Things were going good for him. That was up until June 7th.
What?
That is when Chip Kelly officially dismissed Masoli from the team for good. It was the last straw. Jeremiah Masoli was pulled over at 9:30 p.m. for failing to stop while exiting a Eugene area gas station. Come to find out, his license was suspended, and the police officer found a small amount of Mary Jane in the glove box.
Damn.
You don't need me to tell you what happens next. It was a big no-no. Chip Kelly's like, yeah, it's over. You're done. When Chip Kelly allowed him to stay on the team after the robbery incident, he told him, hey, if another incident pops up, you're done, and that's what happened. Can't really fault Chip Kelly for kicking him off after that. I mean, he
So
gave
you
him
telling me my nigga caught the little 3-5, went to the store, get some leases, some papers, my nigga, and then got like, damn. That's crazy. Like, damn. Like, imagine you getting a calm little 3-5. Go to the store, get you some leads, some papers, or whatever you need. Goddamn, then you get pulled over it. That's.
I don't feel bad for Masoli. No, you were already walking on a thin line in the first place, pal, and then you go and do this. Like, what are you thinking? Matter of fact, scratch.
I'm not gonna lie. As me being a weed smoker, bro, and you got all that shit going on, going down and shit like that, so you might as well just get high as hell.
You weren't thinking. Take a gander at who was in the car with him that night as well, and we might need to make a video on this guy. Darren Thomas,
what?
The backup quarterback to Jeremiah Masoli, who was looking like he was going to take his job, and he did. Here's what Masoli stated about the situation. Quote unquote, I was driving and I've taken responsibility for the citation. Somebody asked him, has he ever smoked Mary Jane? And he stated, yes, I've used Mary Jane in the past just like a lot of college kids. I now know that that's not the example I want to set as a student athlete or a big brother. His teammates wound up stating this after his dismissal from the team. A lot of guys on the team still.
That's why I'm kind of glad that these sports is legalizing marijuana now, because like I can understand a lot of people, they be going through shit, and a lot of people that shit for medicine and shit like that. Well, a lot of these folks be going through a lot of shit with these sports, bro. You know what I'm saying? So.
Jeremiah. Some may look at him in a different light now, but as far as being a teammate on the field, he's one of the greatest teammates I've ever had. And that's what's so sad about this is Masoli was a very likable guy on the field. Obviously, it goes without being said, since Oregon kicked him off, he had no choice but to transfer for that 2010 season. He transferred to Ole Miss, and it wasn't a smooth transition because the NCAA, at first, they didn't allow him to play. Houston Nutt, the head coach at Ole Miss, they petitioned it, and long story short, they got him on the field in week 2, and he played the remainder of the season. Ole Miss didn't have a great team by any stretch of the imagination, but they were okay. Masoli completed 56% of his passes, had 2,000 passing yards with 14 touchdowns to a very bad 13-19. On the ground, he had 544 rushing yards with 6 touchdowns. Goes without being said, his worst season by far, and it's not even close, but a large reason for that is because he didn't really fit the Ole Miss offense. He fit the Oregon system. That's where he strived, and that's where he thrived. And by the way, speaking of Oregon, his old team, this is when they made it to the national championship that game year and lost to Auburn.
What? Oh my God. This shit hurts me till this motherfucking damn day. Like, bro.
At 3 points, 22-19. Kind of funny how things work out. The guy who was riding in the car with him when he got busted for Mary Jane was his successor at the quarterback position.
That's
pretty
crazy.
Crazy and surreal if you get
That is crazy though. Like Darren Thomas came in, he just started going crazy, bro.
Who knows if Oregon has Masoli in that Auburn game? Do they win? Well, Let me know in the comment section.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's always something with my team, bro. We never get nothing clean. We don't never get a clean slate. Never. James, how the fuck you only have 49 rushing yards, gang, in a championship game? Dude, I'm not gonna lie, you don't need to run my fade, twin, cause you going crazy all these other games. James, boom, boom. Then you get to the national championship, you're not even a factor, bro. So I be talking about, but when it comes to the natty, everybody is a part. QB did his job. James, the fuck are you doing, bro? Run.
One thing though, that
you
is
going crazy.
not even.
Like you going crazy all the other games, then you don't even make 50 yards rushing the championship game. Against fucking Auburn.
Been bittersweet. It's just a bitter feeling knowing that your team made it to a championship game in which that was the year you got kicked off in. I hate it for Masoli, but you're driving on a suspended license and you got Mary Jane in the car. What did you think was going to happen? Not a good outcome, I can tell you that much. After playing for Ole Miss in 2010, this is when he declares for the NFL draft. To nobody's shock whatsoever, goes undrafted. Even if he wouldn't have got in any trouble at Oregon and he just completely balled out, his shot of getting drafted, not very good. He might have been best case scenario if everything went according to plan, a 6th or 7th round pick.
Oh, 6,
but with all the red flags and him having a not so good year at Ole Miss, yeah, there was no shot in the dark he was getting drafted. Gonna remind you, this was a 5'11", 210-pound quarterback who wasn't very accurate. Not exactly what NFL teams and GMs are looking for. Yeah, despite that, the 49ers did sign him as an undrafted free agent, only to waive him a few months after. Got to give him credit. He realized, hey, I'm not good enough for the NFL. I'm not cut out for this. Let me try my cards elsewhere. In 2011, he joined the UFL, and he played for the Omaha Nighthawks. Things went okay there.
You don't got no picture of this team right now? That's all they got?
2012, he joined the CFL and signed to the Edmonton Eskimos. He was injured that entire 2012 season, and in 2013, he was traded to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And believe it or not, this is where things get good for Masoli. Normally in these story videos, you know how this later part of it, later stage is about to go. They join this team in the CFL, they get traded, get cut, and yeah, that's pretty much the end-all, be-all. They just get traded a bunch of times. But for Masoli here,
because I don't really be hearing too much about good CFL quarterbacks. Like, I don't be hearing too much.
Hamilton Tiger Cats for a very long time, and he made a good chunk of money. He played for the Hamilton Tiger Cats from 2013 all the way up into 2021. Damn. He didn't wind up starting until the year of 2016, and in these games, he wasn't too shabby. In 2016, he had 2,695 passing yards with 15 touchdowns and 12 INTs. In 2017, he had 3,177 passing yards with 15 touchdowns to only 5 INTs.
Okay.
In 2018,
I'm not gonna lie, that 2017 season had to be his best season.
He had 5,209 passing yards with 28 touchdowns to 18 INTs. The dude was a straight-up gunslinger that year.
Oh, that was
2019, he had about 1,500 passing yards with 9 touchdowns to 7 INTs. They didn't have a year in 2020. In 2021, he had 2,400 passing yards with 10 touchdowns to 6 INTs. Damn. But here's what I was talking about. In 2018, his base salary was $235,000, and if he hit his incentives, he could have got up to $325,000. In 2019, his base salary was $325K. So although, he didn't make it to the NFL, didn't have this luscious career, this dude was making a crap ton of money in the CFL. And remember, he played for the Tiger Cats from 2013 all the way up into 2021. In 2022, however, his run with the Tiger Cats, they were coming to an end. This is when in February of 2022, he signed with the Ottawa Red Blacks. He has been battling some injuries recently, but even to this day, he is still a professional football player, and he's with the Red Blacks. I know this is sort of an abrupt ending here, but that's it. That is the up-to-date on Jeremiah Masoli and his story. Let's bring up the 2 questions we always ask at the end of these videos. Number 1, is Jeremiah Masoli a winner or a loser?
Yeah, winner.
To me, I think he's a winner.
Yeah,
Did he mess up a couple of times or even a few times in his life? Absolutely. I think he'd attest to it.
It is crazy because this shit is not even his fucking fault, bro. Like, that's crazy.
However, like I always say, it's not what happens to you in this life, it's how you respond to it. Even if Masoli himself did create a lot of his problems, he responded to them in a great way. He didn't curl up into a ball. He didn't cry. He didn't say, why me? This sucks. My life sucks. Have this whole victim mentality. No, he just continued to work and strive to be a better person. That's what this life thing's about. I respect anybody that messes up, owns up to it, and tries to be better. Because you want to know something, guys? Your boy Matt isn't perfect himself, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I'm going to make many more. So I'm not going to hold him to the fire. And I know some people are saying, well, Matt, a lot of times you'll criticize guys, and here's the difference. Let me explain something. We'd be having a completely different conversation if Masoli made all those terrible mistakes at Oregon, started doing drugs, his life fell off, and like I said, just had this whole victim mentality, and he didn't work hard after it. That right there, what I just described to you, that's the definition of being a loser. So to me, I think he's a winner. Let's talk about our other question.
I think he's a winner.
Why didn't things work out? Well, we sort of answered that in this video, but we'll do a brief conclusion. For starters, he got into the whole ordeal and incident with the robbery thing at Oregon, and then he got caught driving on a suspended license in Mary Jane, and that's it. And even if he wouldn't got in trouble, I think the chance of him succeeding in the NFL weren't too high in the first place.
Yeah, because
I know a lot of bad things happened to him, but
yeah, because think about it, bro. That probably really what saved him, because he wasn't even he has never thrown over 50%. I mean, 59% of passes. Like, he had never thrown 60%.
I don't think he'd change any of them because he wouldn't be where he's at today without those experiences. I think you could argue and say that those rough experiences he had, it molded him into the man he is today. To Jeremiah Masoli, if you're somehow, someway seeing this video, my brother, I'm proud of you. The fact that you continue to get back up after you got knocked down over and over and over, it shows me the type of man you are, and I respect you immensely.
Hell yeah, that's some nigga you gotta respect, bro. A nigga that keep going throughout all the fails, all the hardships, bro. You can't do nothing but respect that nigga like that, bro. Cause you gotta understand, bro. You don't know what the fuck that nigga been, bro. That nigga probably going through the most shit. Well, guess what, bro? That nigga still going, bro. At the end of the fucking day, bro. Like, bro, as long as you still going, still doing you, bro, you should. That's good, bro. That's the good thing. You at the end of the day, it's good. Like, no matter how many times you fall, as long as you still going, you're doing good, bro. You're not doing bad.
But they're over there.
Oh, that's it? But yes, my nigga. Not gonna lie, bro. If I enjoyed this video, bro. Actually, hold on, Jeremiah. You are a winner in my book. You a pro duck in my book. I'll fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Love you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You good in my book. But the nigga who stole Embry, use it, bro. Embry, you're not good in my book. We're not. Let that be known now. Well, if I enjoyed the video, bro, leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. Follow me on my sisters on the screen next to me. Link in the description as well. On the road to 1,000 subscribers. Like, catch y'all buzzing in. No, follow, hit that like button so you got like 5 likes the video. Hit that post notification bell as well. And I catch y'all buzzing in the next one. Peace.